Okay, so I want to tell you guys about something that happened to me not that long ago. My name's Casey and I work at a property management office in Indianapolis, and a big part of my job is looking at people's paperwork and figuring out when something doesn't add up. And a while back I was looking at a photo that a guy I'd been talking to sent me, and there was a backpack in the background of it. I knew that backpack. I'd been looking at it online for weeks, and the thing is, he said the photo was 3 years old. The way my job works, I spend most of my day looking at rental applications and checking whether the story someone's telling matches the documentation they've submitted. Pay stubs that don't line up with stated income, move-in dates that contradict what a previous landlord said. You do it long enough and it becomes this thing where you just notice when something doesn't fit. You're not even looking for it, you just see it. I grew up outside of Fort Wayne. My dad did HVAC, my mom worked the front desk at a pediatric clinic. And I was the kind of kid who did her homework before being asked and then spent the evening worrying about whether she'd done it right. I moved to Indianapolis about a year before all this happened. First apartment by myself, which felt huge at the time. I'd gotten out of a 3-year relationship when I was 20, and I was really deliberate after that about not letting someone in too fast. I'd been burned and I knew what it felt like, and I wasn't in a hurry to repeat it. So when I tell you I was careful about this guy, I need you to understand what I mean by careful. I mean I was methodical about it. I paid attention. I checked my own feelings against what was actually happening. I thought I was being smart. His name was Wade. He found me through Instagram. I post hiking photos sometimes. Nothing serious, just stuff from weekends when I get out of the city. He followed me, and then about 2 weeks later he commented on one of my photos. And it wasn't a compliment, which is what got my attention. It was this observation about the light in the shot. Something specific about the way the sun was hitting the ridge. And I remember reading it and thinking, okay, this person actually looked at the photo. So I followed him back and eventually we started talking in the DMs. His feed was outdoor photography, really good stuff, ridge lines, wide skies, golden hour over what looked like mountain terrain. He said he was based out of Bozeman, Montana, that he'd moved there a few years back for the landscapes and picked up enough commercial work to make it sustainable. He had this whole life that sounded like the thing people fantasize about when they're sitting at a desk job staring at a screen. We started talking every day. Like actually talking, not just texting back and forth but long voice memos when typing felt too slow, and he'd send me photos he said he hadn't posted yet and ask what I thought, and I'd tell him and he'd take it seriously. He made me feel like my opinion actually mattered even though I'm not a photographer, I'm just someone who likes being outside. And he remembered things. I'd mention something in passing about my week and he'd bring it up again 3 days later and ask how it went. I'm not used to that. I don't get a lot of that. After a while he started talking about coming through Indiana. He said he was going to do a drive back from a shoot in the Smokies and could swing through depending on the timing, and we started actually planning it. Like specifically, I named a trail I wanted to show him. He said he'd bring his camera. We talked about which trailhead to use. Every time a video call came up, he had some reason it wasn't working. Connection problems, always on his end, never resolved. I told myself it was just the mountain signal, that Bozeman had dead zones, that this was a normal thing for someone living out in that kind of landscape. And I believed it because everything else felt so real. The voice memos felt real. The photos felt real. The way he asked follow-up questions felt real. That should have been the moment I paid closer attention. It wasn't. He sent me a photo on a Tuesday, a trail photo, him on a ridge line, good light, the kind of shot he posted a lot. He captioned it as a throwback, said it was from before he had the good camera, probably 3 years back. I almost kept scrolling. But there was a hiker in the background, maybe 40 feet behind him on the trail. And that hiker was carrying a pack I recognized. I have the product page for that pack bookmarked on my phone. I'd been checking it every few days for about 6 weeks, going back and forth on the medium versus the large. I knew the colorway. I knew the logo placement. I knew the specific strap configuration because I'd zoomed in on the product photos enough times that I had it memorized. That pack came out last month. I zoomed in on Wade's photo. I looked at the strap, the logo, the colorway. I put my phone down. I told myself there were explanations. Brand ambassadors get early access. Pre-production samples go out to athletes and outdoor influencers. Someone who hikes like that, hiker was clearly hiking, could easily have been part of a product test. It was a reasonable explanation, and I held on to it, and I went to bed. I picked my phone back up around midnight. The logo wasn't similar to the pack I'd been looking at. It was the logo. Same font, same placement, same angle. I'd stared at that product page enough times to know the difference between close and exact, and this was exact. I didn't know what to do with that. I just lay there. And then my phone buzzed, and it was a voice memo from Wade, just checking in, saying he'd been thinking about the trail I'd picked out and looking at weather for the timing. and I listened to the whole thing before I let myself look at the photo again. I didn't say anything about the backpack. I put my phone down and eventually I slept. The next day at work, I ran a reverse image search on the photo between applications. I'd never done that to someone I was talking to before, and I sat there for a second before I clicked, because clicking meant something, and I wasn't completely sure I wanted to know what it meant. I got a hit. The trail wasn't in Montana. The photo had shown up in an Indiana hiking forum, a state park outside of Bloomington, posted by a different user about 2 years earlier. Different account, same ridgeline, same shot angle, same light. Wade was either in a photo taken by someone else in Indiana, or it was a photo he'd found somewhere and posted as his own throwback. Either way, the trail wasn't Bozeman. I sat with that for a while. I still wasn't completely sure what I was doing, whether I was investigating or just checking something I already halfway knew. I wasn't ready to name which one yet. That evening he texted me about a shoot he had coming up and asked how my week was going. I wrote back, "Normal." I said work was fine, and asked about the shoot. He sent me 2 paragraphs about the location, and I read them and said, "That sounds amazing." I didn't sleep that well. The next day at lunch I showed Danny the photo. Danny works the desk pod next to mine. We've eaten lunch together almost every workday for close to a year, and she knows more about my personal life than most people I've known longer, which isn't saying a lot, but it's something. She came in that morning, set a gas station coffee on my desk without saying anything, pulled her chair around to my side, and read my screen before I said a word about why I looked the way I looked. "That's just Danny." I showed her the backpack, and explained what I knew about the release date. I showed her the Bloomington forum result. She said, "Okay, so what else can we find?" She said it the same way she'd say it about a difficult application. Not alarmed, just practical. "Let's see what we're actually dealing with here." She pulled his name on LinkedIn while I was still holding my sandwich. She typed it in, hit search, and we both looked at the screen. Warehouse Operations Associate, Kokomo, Indiana. No photography, no Bozeman. The profile hadn't been updated in a while, but it was there, and it was him. Same face, same name. 45 minutes from where I was sitting, and then my phone buzzed on the desk between us. It was Wade. He'd seen a trail conditions update for a park in the Smokies and was sending me the link, asking if I'd check the forecast for the weekend because he was thinking about me and the hike I'd mentioned. I read it out loud to Danny without really meaning to. Just read it flat off the screen. She didn't say anything for a second. Then she said, "Okay, so he's texting you like that, right now." I said, "Yeah." She asked what I wanted to do, not what I should do. What I wanted to do. And I didn't know. That's the honest answer. I didn't know. Part of me wanted to write back the way I would have 4 days ago. Part of me wanted to say something that showed him I knew. I did neither. Danny and I sat there and worked out what to actually send, something normal, something that didn't tip him off, something that bought me a few more days. I typed it, read it back to her, she suggested one word change, I made the change and sent it. Then we both just sat there. Danny said, "That was the weirdest thing I've ever helped someone do." I said, "Yeah." Neither of us laughed, but it was close. Then she went back to the Facebook profile she'd found linked to his LinkedIn, and that's where we found Kristen. Kristen's profile wasn't private. 4 years of photos, most of them within an hour of Kokomo. Holiday stuff, birthday dinners, a trip to Chicago, and Wade was in all of it. Same guy from the Instagram, same face. And he looked completely different in those photos than he did in the hiking shots. More regular, like a person who works at a warehouse and goes to birthday dinners. The most recent photo with him was 5 weeks old. I sat at my desk and went through Kristen's profile for about 20 minutes with Wade's message sitting unread in my notifications. She seemed like a normal person. She had friends and inside jokes in her comments, and a job at what looked like a dental office, and she had no idea that the man in her photos was spending his evenings sending voice memos to a 22-year-old in Indianapolis about a hiking trip they were planning. I didn't open his message until I got home that night. I read it, set my phone face down, and sat on my couch for a long time. I knew what I needed to do next, and I knew it was going to take one more thing before I did it. I told Wade I wanted to do a video call. I said I was tired of the connection issues and I just needed 5 minutes I'd call him directly. He said okay. I knew what I was looking for going in. I wasn't going in to catch him, I'd already caught him. I was going in to see. He answered on the 3rd ring. He smiled when the camera connected, said my name, asked how I was. Behind him was a beige apartment wall, an Indiana Pacers schedule tacked to it, a utility bill on the counter, the kind that comes in an envelope with a window, sitting there like it was any Tuesday in Kokomo. Not Montana, not Bozeman, not the life he'd built online and handed to me piece by piece for 7 months. I said I was good. I asked about his week. I was pleasant. I watched his face the whole time and I said nothing. We talked for about 12 minutes. He said he missed me. I said I missed him too. I hung up and sat in my apartment in the quiet and thought about what I was going to say to him and how I wanted to say it. I called him the following Tuesday. It was evening. I was on my couch with the lights on and my phone in my hand, and I'd had it all mapped out in my head for days. Every point, every piece of evidence in order. I'd gone over it enough times that I could have recited it, and then he picked up and said, "Hey, Casey, what's up?" And his voice was so normal, so completely normal, like it was any other call, and the whole script went away and I just started talking. I said, "I need you to listen to me for a minute." He said, "Okay." I said, "The photo you sent me, the throwback, the one you said was 3 years old." He didn't say anything. I said, "There's a hiker in the background carrying a pack that came out last month. I've had the product page bookmarked for 6 weeks. I know exactly when it launched. A 3-year-old photo can't have gear that didn't exist 30 days ago. Still nothing. I kept going. I told him I'd run the image and found the trail in a Bloomington hiking forum posted by someone else. I told him I'd found the comment he left on a Kokomo bar's Instagram 8 months ago, the week after we started talking. I told him about the LinkedIn, warehouse operations, Kokomo, no photography, no Montana, and then I said Kristen's name. He went quiet in the specific way that wasn't a pause. It was something settling, like air going out of something. I said, "I need you to say something." He said, "Casey." I said, "I'm not done." I told him about the trail, the one I'd named for him. The specific trailhead, the loop I'd picked out, the thing I'd said I wanted to show him. I told him I'd looked it up after the video call and it was 40 minutes from Kokomo. He could have actually taken me there. The trail was real. The drive was real. The whole thing he'd said he was going to do was something he physically could have done, just as himself. My voice changed on that part. I didn't mean for it to, but it did. I asked him why. Not how. Why? Why didn't he just be who he actually was? He was quiet for a long time, then he said, "Because who I actually am wasn't someone you'd have responded to." I didn't say anything. He said, "The version of me I built online, that's who I wanted to be. I do hike. I do take photos. But the life around it isn't real, and I knew it wasn't real, and I built it anyway, because it was the only version of me that ever got this kind of response. And you were careful. You didn't just respond to it. You took your time, and that made it feel like something that actually mattered." I said, "So you needed me to believe in someone who doesn't exist so you could feel like he did?" He didn't answer that. I said, "I've been careful since my last relationship. Do you understand what that means? I don't let people in. I check my own feelings against what's actually happening, and I go slow, and I make sure, and I thought I was doing all of that. I thought I was being smart." My voice cracked on that last part, and I let it. I said, "I told my coworker about you. She asked how things were going, and I said, 'Really good,' and she smiled at me in this way. I don't give people a lot to work with, so I don't get that a lot. And I said, 'Really good,' because that's what I believed." I paused. "And I named a trail. I told you specifically where I wanted to take you, and you said you'd bring your camera, and I believe that too." I could hear him breathing. I said, "I need you to understand what you took from me. Not the time, not the conversations, the willingness. I was willing to try this, and you knew that, and you kept going anyway." He said, "I know," quiet, like he meant it. I didn't care that he meant it. I said, "I'm going to hang up now." He said, "Casey, I hung up. I sat on my couch for a long time after that, not crying, just sitting. And after a while, I picked up my phone and opened Facebook and found Kristen's profile and started writing her a message. I'm not a dramatic person. I don't do things for effect. So the message I sent her was just the information, laid out the same way I'd lay out a documentation problem at work. I sent her screenshots of the DM thread. I sent her the trail photo with the backpack. I annotated it, put a note next to the pack with the model name and the launch date. I sent her the reverse image search result with the Bloomington forum. I sent her the bar comment timestamp next to the date Wade told me the photo was from. I sent her the LinkedIn. I wrote a short paragraph explaining the timeline, and then I said I was sorry to be sending this and I hoped she was okay. She responded in 40 minutes. She said, "I know something was wrong. I've known for a while, I just didn't have anything I could hold on to." That hit me harder than anything Wade had said on the phone. The idea that she'd been sitting with the same feeling I had at midnight on that first night, that something wasn't adding up, that the story didn't match, and she'd had nothing concrete, just a feeling she couldn't prove. And then a stranger sent her a folder. I sat with that for a long time. 2 days later, Kristen posted the trail photo to her profile. She'd cropped it so the backpack was in the center of the frame. Next to it, she wrote the model name of the pack, the launch date, And then underneath that, in quotes, 3 years ago. She didn't tag Wade, she didn't tag me, she didn't say anything else. Within 48 hours, the account had been mass reported. 11,000 followers, all the hiking photos, all the Montana content, everything he'd built for 7 months online. Gone inside a week. Danny showed me. She turned her monitor around without saying anything, and I looked at the screen. Wade's handle, no posts, account not found, and I nodded and turned back to my own screen. She set a gas station coffee on my desk. I picked it up. I had a new application in my queue. The income documentation didn't match the stated employer. The pay stub format was off. The dates didn't line up. I flagged it, the way I always do, and moved to the next one. If you want to hear more stories like this, please like and subscribe. It would really mean a lot to me.